You'll see increased user engagement, enhanced patient experiences, and really the goal is that you're optimizing for the end user to make their experience better. How can an agency support you? Well, typically an agency will help you choose the right vendor or software platform to use for testing, and an agency can help you plan your tests and help you determine which pages to test and help you calculate ROI so that you're prepared to do testing and translate the results. And then finally, an agency can help you take those results and translate them in other areas, help you improve your search engine marketing, help you improve email marketing, different initiatives on the website, and then also translate those results, like I had said earlier, to radio, broadcast, outdoor, such as billboard, and out of home. So really online testing translates to so many areas. So with that, I'd like to turn it over for Tani for a few quick words. While I'm doing that, if you'd like to type in any questions into the questions box in the webinar software tool here, and then I'd be happy to answer any questions. So without further ado, here's Tani.
Thank you, Blaine. I just want to remind everyone really quickly that the slides for today's webinar are available on SlideShare at the address that you have on your screen there. And additionally, the entire recorded presentation, as well as many other valuable webinars, presentations, case studies, and white papers, are available at Earthbound Media Group's website. It's in the Knowledge Center, and you can find a link to that on the home page at earthboundmediagroup.com.
Thanks, Tani. So I have a couple of questions here. The first is, what is the approximate cost of testing? Well, the cost is going to vary depending on the software chosen and the number of tests you perform per month and whether or not an agency or an internal team is doing that for you. Software can typically be free, as in my example with Google Website Optimizer. Some of the other vendors out there, the cost can range anywhere from $3,000 to about $8,000 or $10,000 per month. So some of these tools and platforms are a little bit on the expensive side, and hopefully with doing about 4 to 6 tests a month, you will easily make that amount up in doing the testing in terms of ROI. In terms of resources, typically an organization, for example, Loma Linda Medical Center, has one person who's responsible for testing within their organization, and they work with our agency to actually do the testing. And typically we spend anywhere from about 20 to 30 hours a month doing strategy for testing and actually implementing the testing. I have another question here. What if your website is not really set up for testing? How can you best implement? Really the great thing about using a vendor like Optimost, the software to implement testing, you really don't have to have, quote unquote, a great website to start testing. Basically, what's needed is you put a piece of JavaScript code on the page that you'll be testing, and everything else is handled outside of your website environment. So the great thing is you can really perform testing without your IT team, without the need for some heavy lifting on the creative and tech side. Really, the different assets and pieces that you're testing get loaded to the software. The small piece of JavaScript code gets put on the page that you're testing, and that's pretty much it. And the test software runs itself. Some of the other softwares might be a little more complex in terms of how you implement it, but for the most part, testing is done outside of your current website. So I hope that answered your question. Have another question here. Who at Loma Linda University Medical Center does testing or is responsible? I may have answered this previously. They have one person who's responsible for testing. That person meets with our team typically about once a month and goes over results about once a quarter. And we basically present test strategies. They make recommendations or changes or edits to those tests. They prioritize them or help us prioritize them, and then we go ahead and implement those for them. But it is just one person, and it doesn't take any more than that, and they're able to get it done. And then I have one other question here. How does Loma Linda University Medical Center use the results of testing? So when we perform a test for Loma Linda University Medical Center, when we determine that there's a winning creative, we actually serve that creative immediately. So there's really no delay in understanding what the test result is and serving that test result as the winner. But once we know what that winner is and we actually document those test results, we deliver that back to the medical center so that they can share that within their group. And then depending on what's tested, for example, it might be a call to action or a banner. It might be a photo. It might be a copy block or the placement of copy. Those results can then be interpreted, depending on the service line, for other marketing materials. Like I had mentioned before, a brochure or a billboard or a radio ad, the message or approach might be changed based on what we learn with the multivariate testing. I have another question here. What would you set aside as a budget for testing and then implementing winning tests? This is a tough one. Depends on how many tests you're doing and which testing platform you are using to do your testing. So if your testing platform is Google Website Optimizer and it's free, I would set aside anywhere from 40 to 50 hours a month of someone's time. Hopefully that person is somewhat knowledgeable in testing to actually create a testing strategy, work with a creative team within your organization to produce the graphics and different testing elements, and then that person would implement those different assets into your testing platform and then conduct the test. While the test is running, they may check in a couple times a week just to make sure everything's going well. And then at the end of the test, they would then put the results together maybe in a PowerPoint or a Word document and then present those back to the group that's in charge of those areas of the website. From a cost perspective, if you're using a software like Optimos, depending on the level of testing that or engagement that you have with them, it can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 a month. So in an annual budget, you may want to include somewhere in the neighborhood of about $150,000. And I know that seems high potentially to a lot of you out there, but if you're doing search engine marketing and spending a significant amount per month, your budget will not be increasing over the years. So rather than trying to find more money to pay for more expensive advertising, what you should be doing is keeping your budget the same, but optimizing your website to improve conversion. So while you're spending money to implement testing and optimization, you will be saving money in the long run by improving your overall conversion rate and return. It looks like that's all the questions I have currently. I'm going to go ahead and end the presentation. If you have additional questions or would like to reach out to us, please feel free to do so. My contact information is on the screen there. I'm more than willing to answer any questions or provide any additional information via email. I'm also happy to send the Forrester reports that were shared in the presentation to you by email. If you care to review them, go ahead and send me an email and I can get those to you. Otherwise, I appreciate everyone who attended today. I hope this was helpful and insightful. And I'd like to remind everyone that this webinar will be available on our website in the coming days, and the slides will also be available as you see here on the screen. If you like the webinar today, we also have a number of great webinars, case studies, white papers, and other really knowledgeable information on our website at earthboundmediagroup.com. Just click on the Knowledge Center area and you'll see the different resources that I'm speaking of. Appreciate your time today, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Thank you.